Hello my friends, back again here, another one of my new videos with you. I have received a lot of questions recently, especially about nibs and how they write actually, and I think it's an important argument to deal with. So will be the first of a series of videos where I will talk about each and every nib of every pen company, basically telling you how they are made, where they come from, and most of all, how they write, how its performance is. So I would like to start today this new chapter of videos with Aurora, our made in Italy, our 100% made in Italy pen. I think that every one of you is aware that we have recently abandoned the year of the 100th anniversary of Aurora. So it's a pen company here in Italy that has a long history that dates back to 1919. And it has a lot of experience in making pens and especially in how to manufacture nibs, which many of you know that it's one of the most difficult parts in the making of a fountain pen. The nib is really the hardest part. So Aurora is one of the probably only Italian pen companies that makes their own nibs in-house. And that's why they offer a large range of sizes that may differ one from the other, and they enhances how everybody writes with them, especially because each one will have a different line variation, a different kind of widths that will help you to find the one that is most suitable for you. So let's start this brief journey about the nibs. I will start with the iconic pen of Aurora, the Aurora 88, the one that made really a history of pens. This is the 88 with the gold-plated cap, and this is an extra fine nib. And here let's take a close look at it, because one of the most peculiar way of the production of nibs in Aurora is their alloy that may be 14 or 18 karat solid gold nib, and the tip with the iridium point that is worked in a very peculiar way. I mean, it's the less western nib that we have here in Europe. It's quite stiff, that's its peculiarity from my point of view. That makes it a very precise nib, and quite similar to the Japanese ones. I always make comparison with the Japanese ones, and this is the closest one, to those one, to the Japanese ones. Let's make a try. This is the Aurora extra fine nib. As you may all see very clearly, the line is really precise. It doesn't skip a bit, even just dipped a little bit with this very nice chocolate Aurora color, but it's smooth. It's not scratchy, even if it's so thin. Wonderful. I would like to point out that every Aurora, especially these are the most expensive ones, are all piston filling system, as you can guess from the ink window that it's most of the times it's present in every Aurora 88 or Optima model. after the extra fine, of course, we will take a look at the fine tip. For the fine, I selected this time the Aurora Internazionale model. That is one that I particularly love because it's so vintage style, with its engraving of the pen company on the body, like the old times, and the nib that has the old logo on it. It's really cool from a point of view. So fine tip from Aurora. It's really smooth, and the line is just a bit thicker, as you can see, from the other one, from the extra fine one. Fine Aurora. Lovely, really lovely. So we have the extra fine and we have the fine. Then let's go further to the next one. Here we have as a medium the Internazionale model in the most recent color, the green one, which has much spectacular as the other one, has the blue one. I really wouldn't know which to choose. And here we have we have the medium nib, which is of course even thicker. It's thicker of course than fine, but it's absolutely enjoyable and very always smooth, even if stiff, because as I told you, these nibs are quite stiff, but that's why, as in Sailor, they don't skip. They never skip, and they are an absolutely joy to write with, especially if you have to write for a long period of time. And that's for this reason that let's go straight to the broad tip. That many of the people who loves broads are not very attracted by Aurora, because we're always talking about a line with that it's not so thick as you probably would expect it from a broad, but it's really nice. You can probably see from the tip that it's rounded, and it's perfectly worked, the iridium part, to be smooth and to follow your line so precisely. Then, this is one of the most... and just a little detail that I want to point out about this pen. This is the new Kaleidoscopio collection of the Ottima series from Aurora. And the speciality of this pen is the alveoloid grip section, which is something very unusual from Aurora that they have started recently to implement in their series, and I think it's really a good thing. It's really nice improvement from my point of view on the aesthetics of this pen, that it's already gorgeous, and the colors are really so vivacious and great, with great depth, as usual in the Alveoloid series by Aurora. Then we have finished with the 4 standard nibs sizes from Aurora, and now we'll start a little journey to the bespoke ones, the special ones. For example, let's try first one with this Aurora 88 Saturn series. the double broad, which is very large in this case, so we have an enjoyable nib if you need something to sign, to make a very gorgeous signature on the paper. And if you div it just a bit, we'll find that the double broad, wow, rounded and so good to write with. It's really always very hard for me to write with the double broads or stubs or whatever large nibs, because I am more an extra fine writer. But sometimes when I use it, I always think what I'm missing, because they're really great and enjoyable. But my writing samples, as you can see, I write very small. I have a very small handwriting, so I need an extra fine, but it has to be smooth, and the Aurora one is really great. Let's go to the italic. That it's quite similar in shape to the double broad, but the tipping is less rounded on the back of the nib, and the cuts of the edges especially are really very sharp. So let's go and have it a go. What impressed me so much about this italic nib, it's how smooth it is, in spite of its sharp edges, because it's really very well crafted, as you can see. So if you like calligraphy in the ancient style, this is an expensive nib, but it's really something that you would have to look for. And this is the Aurora Neptune of the Stellar collection. Wow, great blue. Quite similar in taste. It's the, here I have an old Aurora 88 Seeger Blue. That is a heavier pen because it's one of the lacquered pens by Aurora, one of the few. And on this one there is a stub nib, which is, as you can see, it's it's a 1.3 stub. It's always a 18 karat solid gold nib, and the tipping is very special, as you can see, because there is a slight oblique if you look at it from this side, from the profile, and it's rounded at the edges, as you have seen on the italic or the double broad, that's more sharp. Here the edges are rounded to have a very enjoyable experience writing with, because you can have a very nice line variation. Sorry, it needs to be dipped more. Line variation, just put in the tips with the right angle, but the difference with an italic, it's that this nib is more forgiving because of the rounded edges of the tip that allows you to even have a bit of slit of inner or outer turn of the nib without skipping. That's the rounded edges that allows you to do that instead of an italic that needs to be handled precisely and correctly, otherwise it won't write as you wish. And finally, let's take a look at one of the really specials of Aurora, the gotcha nib. It's not something very common to see. Probably I could compare it just to the sailor naginata nibs that are very famous. The target of doing this pen, of doing this kind of nib, is to get a very large, very nice line variation, just depending on the position of the nib on the paper. The nib has been dubbed, it's called in Italian goccia, that means drop, like a drop of water. I don't know if you can see from the profile why it is called like that. This peculiar shape allows you exactly to have different kind of lines, just depending on the more vertical or horizontal way you put the nib on the paper. The more vertical you will have a very thin line, like an extra fine. Then the more I put the nib closer to a 45 degrees, the line becomes bigger. Yeah, and you can really establish which kind of width you want to achieve. For example, if I go here to the very if I put a 30 degrees angle, here you see I reach quite the width of a broad nib. That's amazing. And this is the calligraphy, so-called the Chinese calligraphy gotcha nib, which is available in 3 widths and 3 sizes. It's an extra fine, a fine, and a medium. The one here that I have tried is the fine one, and I've tried it in using this really stunning Aurora Atlantic Ocean, which is part of a very successful collection of limited edition pens dedicated to the oceans in the world. And this is a stunning blue Atlantic color. A quick look at the yellow Optima 365 yellow color, where I have a very nice other gotcha nib. This time this is starts with an extra fine, and it's really great. I don't know if I will master this nib in a proper way to announce what it can do, but really, well, probably I can let you see how it is thinner. It's really an extra fine if I use it in a vertical way, extra fine, and it's incredible. It's incredibly thin. And I really like. I know it might sound strange, but I have not every day the opportunity to try the nibs. I'm always busy doing a lot of things So this is really an enjoyable day when I can do these videos for you, because it's something that amazes me as well as you, and I hope that you will enjoy it as well. So this is extra fine, but if I go this way, look how medium it becomes. Medium nib. Yeah. And if I go this way with a splendid signature of my own, we have a broad, or very close to a broad nib. And this is the calligraphy Gocha Extra Fine. Probably you will enjoy also medium one that will allow you to get a broader line if you put the nib at a 30 degrees angle. A last nib to examine is, of course, now then at the end, for the calligraphy lovers, the flexible nib. Here we have on the Optima Anniversary series the orange one, which I love. This is the 14 karat solid gold nib, which from my point of view is the best one, the best suited one to give you the flexibility that you would like to get from a flexible nib, at least a modern one. We will never reach the quality and softness of a vintage one, but this is very, very good. And the flexible here, as you see, it's a fine flexible. You start from a very fine line, but if you want to enjoy the calligraphy, you probably will have to slow down and enjoy this kind of writing. Just pressure, a gently pressure, and that's what you get. Really, really love it. And that's all. And that's all for now. I hope you will love this video, and on the next one I will talk about another brand, and we will test and take a good look together at how they are made, and the lines and the widths and sizes that each company offers you. And on the final video we will make some comparison, which is always very nice. This will enable you, I hope, to have a better idea on how to choose the nib that suits you well. So see you next time, my friends, to the next video. Bye.